Welcome to week 4. This is Anthony speaking. Let me read to you the welcome message for week 4. It's got this image, embrace the mess. And the reason why I've provided that image for you is because we're getting into drafting this week. And drafting is always messy, but that's okay. I want you to embrace that mess because from that mess will come greatness. The welcome message is welcome to week 4. I'm excited for this week on our personal narrative unit. Hopefully, last week's brainstorming activity helped activate a memory or recall an experience that you will write about. This week, we write our first drafts. As always, I suggest you work through the week's activities from the top down. Please be reminded that participation in the discussion board counts as part of your final grade and as your weekly attendance. And I put a little note here. P.S. If you upload an avatar image to your Blackboard profile, I will give you $1 million. And for legal reasons, I must tell you that's a joke. But please, 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 I'm now begging you. You have me begging. Upload an image to go along with your Blackboard profile so that when I look at the discussion board, I don't see a bunch of empty boxes. It makes you all look very shady and suspicious. And I want to get to know you better. All right, so the first thing I'd like you to do for this week is read Amy Tan's Mother Tongue. It can be found in your textbook on page 179, and it goes to, oops, that's a typo. It is not that long. It does not go to page 194. I'll have to fix that. It goes to page 184. It's about 5 pages. Amy Tan's Mother Tongue, and then listen to my take. So I've recorded a breakdown for you. I decided to record instead of to make a video. Just like I did last time, because I think it might be easier for you guys to listen, and you may be even able to focus better if you listen to the take while you look at the piece. I don't know. I'm hoping. To be totally honest, I'm still not used to sitting alone in my house having a one-way conversation on my laptop. So there are some awkward pauses and some stammering. Please forgive me. I feel kind of foolish talking essentially to myself, but it is what it is. So that's what I'd like you to do after you do the reading is listen to my short mini lesson on it, my little discussion, I guess, with myself. Then I want you to watch 2 clips. So first you're going to watch an 8-minute clip from a 2004 documentary called Mountain Talk, which is really interesting. The whole documentary is actually available on YouTube. It's about an hour long. I would really recommend it. But just for the purposes of this week, you only have to watch this 8-minute clip. Really, what it's about is people who live in Appalachia or Appalachia, as they would pronounce it, and how they speak their English. And it sounds very different from the English that I'm speaking right now and that most of you speak. And then I want you to take a look at this little BuzzFeed video. This is like 2 minutes. It's called Brits versus Americans, Who Speaks Proper English? And after you watch those videos and you do the reading, I want you to get into the discussion board. So the week 4 discussion board is here. Let me click it for you to show you what it's going to look like. Okay, so week 4 discussion. In her essay, Tan discusses the idea of multiple Englishes. We see this idea, excuse me, we see this idea explored further in the 2 videos above. So for this discussion, pick up any or all of the following questions. Write a post of at least 150 words and respond to 2 of your classmates' posts in at least 50 words. I encourage you, as always, to return to week 1 to get to know or to review or refresh yourself on who it is you're responding to. So please end your post with a question or 2 of your own to help the discussion flow. So some of the discussion prompt questions for this week are, has your view of proper English changed from the beginning of the course to now? And I put proper English in quotes for a reason. What type of prejudices do you think those speakers of the Appalachian English dialect encounter? Have you or a loved one ever experienced the type of dismissal that Tan's mother endured based on fluency in English? The BuzzFeed video compares British English and American English, but isn't that dichotomy still a bit simplistic? Meaning that dichotomy, that binary between 2 sides of a coin. Isn't it a little bit more complex than British versus American English? After all, aren't there many, many different types of American English and many types of British English for that matter? And finally, should we consider changing the way we teach proper English? And how so? So we all have our stories about being corrected, even myself, and I'm an English teacher. So how do you think we should change the way that we teach English to our kids, right, or to our English language learners? So that's the discussion board. Let me head back to the weekly lesson. And after the discussion board, we get into the drafting of your personal narrative. So this week you'll work on the first draft of your own personal narrative essay. The prompt for your essay is below. So this is the prompt, the official assignment. Write an essay that tells a personal experience from your life and discusses the power of language. Use the readings we've studied so far as models of this writing genre. Additionally, you will find an early draft of an essay assignment written by a former student of mine below. This is meant to give you an idea of what an early draft of this assignment might look like. The assignment below has numerous errors that were worked out in a later draft. I've preserved it for you in its original form to show you that it's okay for a first draft to be less than perfect. Embrace the mess. That's the theme of this week. It can all be fixed later. What's important is that you tell an effective story. And this is, I won't tell you her name, but this is a former student of mine. Her first draft of this essay that eventually she revised and edited, and it was an A paper. It was an excellent essay, and you can see here when you read it, despite the errors, it still tells a great story. And so this is what I'm looking for from you this week, at the very least. And then the last thing you're going to do for the week is get into that writer's notebook and write the first draft of your personal narrative. Remember that the final draft should be between 750 and 1250 words. You don't have to write that much for this first draft, but you should keep that in mind as your target. And get as much out on paper. I guess I'm going to say paper, even though you're probably typing it on a laptop, but so to speak, metaphorically, virtual paper, as possible. Get it all out, and I'll give you my comments, and then you'll have some time to rework it into your final draft. All right? If there are any questions, please feel free to reach out or to go to the Q&A section of the discussion board. And don't forget my office hour every Wednesday between 6 and 8 p.m. Last week, nobody showed up to my office hour, and I sat there like a lonely person. So feel free to drop by, ask a question, or just introduce yourself. So that's it. I'm looking forward to reading your work. Thanks, guys.